What if the space you think is clean is actually one of the easiest places for germs to spread without you ever noticing?
Yeah, I mean, it really forces you to completely recalibrate how you look at a room because, the microscopic reality is just so much more resilient than we want to admit.
Right. And even after regular cleaning, viruses and bacteria can linger on high-tech surfaces like door handles, desks, and shared equipment, putting homes and businesses at risk in ways most people never consider.
Oh, absolutely. It's a huge blind spot for a lot of people.
It really is.
Yeah.
So in today's deep dive, we're talking about how coronavirus cleaning and disinfection services in Atlanta protect homes and businesses, and why professional disinfection goes far beyond surface cleaning to create safer, healthier environments where people live and work every day.
Which is a massive topic, honestly.
It is, yeah. And before we really get into the microbiology of all this, I want to enthusiastically thank the sponsor making this deep dive possible.
Huh.
We've got Four Seasons Air Care LLC.
They're doing some really important work out there.
They really are. You can actually reach them directly by calling 404-891-0225.
Yeah.
And unlike they don't just do disinfection. They offer this completely comprehensive list of services to keep your spaces safe.
Right. The whole environmental system.
Exactly. I'm talking air duct cleaning GA, crawl space encapsulation, ductwork installation and repair, dryer vent cleaning, disinfection services, HVAC system cleaning, and water damage restoration.
It's a serious lineup, which, actually ties perfectly into what our mission is for this deep dive.
Oh, how so?
Well, we're really going to deconstruct how these invisible threats operate in spaces that, to the naked eye, look totally spotless.
Right, because looks can be deceiving.
Exactly. The goal here is to move past the superficial idea of a clean room and really look at the specialized scientific methods used to dismantle these threats so we can understand how they protect the places you live and work.
Let's start right there, actually.
Yeah.
That idea of superficial aesthetics, because there's this massive cognitive dissonance.
Oh, totally. We're wired to trust our senses.
Yeah, like you walk into an office, you smell that fake lemon scent.
The classic lemon cleaner, right?
Right. You see the lights reflecting off the conference table, and your brain just automatically goes, okay, this space is safe. But our sources are saying that shiny surface is basically a biological illusion.
Yeah, a shiny surface does not equal a sterile surface.
No.
I mean, the illusion really comes from confusing mechanical removal with true biological neutralization.
Okay, break that down for me. Mechanical removal.
So when you take a regular cleaning cloth and just, wipe down a desk, the chemicals in your everyday spray are just breaking surface tension. They lift away the visible stuff dust, oils, maybe a coffee ring.
Right, the stuff you can actually see.
Exactly. But severe pathogens like influenza or the coronavirus, they operate on a totally different scale. They do not care if your desk is dusty or not.
So wiping it doesn't do anything to them.
Well, actually, it can make it worse. If you use a standard wipe without the right chemical dwell time, meaning leaving the liquid on the surface long enough to work, you're basically creating a microscopic transit system.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah, you're just dragging the active virus from one concentrated little spot and smearing it evenly across the rest of the workspace.
Oh, wow. So you're inadvertently acting as a shuttle service for the virus, like relocating it to prime real estate where someone else is just going to rest their hand an hour later.
That is exactly the reality of basic surface cleaning. So to actually neutralize the threat, you need a deliberate, targeted chemical intervention.
Which is where the professionals come in.
Right. This is how professional coronavirus cleaning and disinfection services in Atlanta separate themselves from, standard janitorial upkeep. They target high-touch areas using industrial-strength disinfectants that are specifically accepted by the CDC and the EPA.
And these aren't just heavy-duty soaps, right?
No, not at all. They aren't designed to lift dirt. They're designed to chemically dismantle the virus's structural integrity.
Yeah, looking at the chemical arsenal from the sources, it honestly reads like an organic chemistry syllabus.
It really does.
It's like we're talking about Clorox wipes here. The professionals are deploying things like ethyl alcohol, hypochlorites, formaldehyde, glutaraldehyde, and hydrogen peroxide.
It's a heavy-duty lineup, yeah.
But, reading a list of chemicals is one thing. What are these compounds actually doing to get that staggering 99.9% virus kill rate?
Well, the mechanisms of action are really diverse, which you need because you're dealing with different types of viral architecture. Let's take ethyl alcohol and hypochlorites first.
Yeah.
A lot of viruses, including the coronavirus, are enveloped viruses. That means their genetic material is wrapped in an outer lipid bilayer.
Like a layer of fat.
Exactly. It's a fatty protective membrane. So ethyl alcohol acts as a solvent. It rapidly denatures the proteins and literally dissolves that fatty envelope.
Oh, so it just strips the armor right off.
Exactly. And once that fatty layer is gone, the whole structural integrity collapses. The virus is completely inert.
Okay, that makes sense. But what about those heavier compounds on the list? Like formaldehyde and glutaraldehyde sound way more aggressive.
Oh, they are. They operate through this process called cross-linking. So, for example, glutaraldehyde is what's called a dialdehyde. When it hits viral proteins, it forces their chemical groups to bind together.
To bind together how?
Well, think of the spike proteins on the outside of a virus. They're like these little moving parts that let the virus latch onto a human cell. Glutaraldehyde basically pours chemical concrete into those moving parts.
Wow, just freezes them solid.
Right. It locks them into rigid, completely useless structures. And formaldehyde does something similar. It disrupts RNA synthesis. And then you have hydrogen peroxide.
Which attacks differently, right?
Yeah, by oxidative stress. It produces these hydroxyl free radicals that just violently rip electrons away from the virus's membrane and its DNA.
Okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah.
Normal cleaning is like mowing the lawn. It looks neat, but the roots are still there. Professional disinfection is like pulling the weeds out by the roots so the hazard is entirely gone.
That's a great way to look at it. If you just mow the lawn, the biological machinery is still perfectly intact underneath. It's just waiting to regrow or infect the next host.
Right.
But pulling it up by the roots using, protein denaturation and oxidative stress, that ensures the pathogen is permanently destroyed.
Okay, so that covers the chemical warfare side of things. But our sources point out that chemistry is really just phase one, which is wild.
Yeah, chemistry is just the start.
The really fascinating part is the specialized, heavy-duty equipment they bring into homes and offices. We're talking a hospital-grade tech here, specifically ozone generators and UV germicidal lamps.
This is where you move from chemical application to, physics-based destruction. It's how they get that absolute comprehensive eradication.
So let's talk about the ozone generators first. I mean, I know ozone is a reactive gas, but what exactly is a generator doing in an office?
So the generator emits a high-voltage positive ion electrical current right into the air. This current intentionally splits normal oxygen molecules so they recombine into ozone.
Because ozone is basically an unstable oxygen molecule, right? It's looking for something to attach to.
Precisely. It desperately wants to react. And since it's a gas, it doesn't just sit on a flat surface like a spray would. It cascades through the entire room.
Oh, so it gets everywhere.
Everywhere. Inside porous fabrics, under keyboards, deep inside the HVAC vents places where liquid chemicals just can't reach in high enough concentrations. It breaks down microorganisms and odors at the absolute source.
And this is technology they literally use in hospital surgery rooms.
Exactly. It's designed to create a zero biological load environment.
That is intense. And then they follow that up with UVC light, which, just to clarify for the listener, is not the UVA or UVB light you get at the beach.
No, not at all. UVC operates at a much, much shorter wavelength. We're talking shortwave ultraviolet light, around 254 nanometers.
And what does that do to a virus?
When a UV germicidal lamp casts that light over a room, those shortwave photons physically penetrate the cell walls of bacteria, viruses, protozoa, and they directly attack the DNA and RNA.
So it's physically disrupting the genetic code.
Yes. It targets the DNA base pairing. It causes adjacent bases in the genetic code to basically fuse together. It creates what are called pyrimidine dimers.
Okay, pyrimidine dimers. What does that mean visually?
Imagine the virus's RNA is a straight ladder. The UVC light causes two of the rungs on one side to just snap and weld themselves to each other.
Oh man, so it puts a massive kink in the ladder.
Exactly. It completely corrupts the blueprint. So even if the virus survives the chemicals and survives the ozone, which is unlikely, its internal code is wrecked.
So it can't reproduce.
Right. It's completely inactivated. And a virus that can't replicate is effectively dead.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting, but also a bit scary. If this tech destroys DNA and is meant for surgery rooms, how on earth is it safe for a toddler or a golden retriever walking on the living room floor an hour later?
That is the most common question, and it's totally understandable. It all comes down to strict safety protocols and ventilation.
Walk me through those protocols, because altering DNA in a living room sounds risky.
Well, first off, the chemical disinfectants they use, while industrial strength, are strictly EPA registered and low toxic for indoor use once they dry. But the real key is the isolation period.
So nobody is in the house when this happens.
Exactly. Let's look at a residential space. A full treatment takes about 2 to 4 hours. During the active treatment with the ozone and the UVC light, everyone has to leave. Occupants step out, pets are removed, even plants are sometimes moved.
It's totally locked down.
Complete vacuum of occupancy. And the UVC light, since it's just light stops existing the second the machine is turned off, there's zero residual radiation.
But the ozone is a gas. That doesn't just disappear when you flip a switch.
Which is why the final step is a mandatory high-velocity ventilation process. Ozone actually has a very short half-life.
Oh, so it breaks down quickly.
Very quickly. Once the generator is off, it naturally reverts back to normal, breathable oxygen. But to ensure it's completely safe, the team runs industrial air movers for a strict 30-minute ventilation period.
So they're just blasting fresh air through the entire house.
Yeah. Right. By the time the family returns, the air is clean, the chemical vapors are gone, and the house is totally safe.
And completely free of viruses.
Which, I mean, think about the peace of mind that brings to a family, especially if someone just got over being sick.
It's a huge relief. The psychological impact is massive.
Yeah, because your home is supposed to be your safe haven. But if someone in the house catches, say, the coronavirus or a really bad flu, the house becomes this sort of localized hot zone.
Right, and the issue there is viral shedding. Even after the person starts feeling better and their symptoms fade, they can still leave viable virus particles on high-touch surfaces.
Like the bathroom faucet, the TV remote, the fridge handle.
Exactly. Every single thing they touch becomes a potential risk for the rest of the family.
And the last thing you want is to finally get over being sick, only to have a family member catch it from the kitchen counter, right?
Yep.
Or you have a visitor come over and they get exposed. Exactly. Normal wiping just doesn't guarantee those shed particles are gone. Professional cleaning acts like a hard biological reset for the property. It drastically reduces the spread of illness at home.
And the sources mentioned they're super meticulous about the biohazard protocols, too.
Oh, absolutely. It's not just wiping things down. If there are heavily contaminated materials, they are cleansed, sanitized, and actually disposed of properly as formal biohazard waste.
So they aren't just chucking virus-covered paper towels into your kitchen trash can.
No, never. They ensure the pathogens are completely removed from the property. That's how you restore a home into a true safe haven.
Which is such a powerful service to provide. And honestly, it seamlessly brings me back to our sponsor, because they have an exceptional track record when it comes to this exact peace of mind.
Yeah, reputation is everything in this industry.
It really is. And the coronavirus cleaning and disinfection services in Atlanta, provided by Four Seasons Air Care, they have a 4.8-star rating.
Wow.
Yeah, out of over 798 reviews.
That is really hard to maintain across that many jobs.
Right. It shows incredible consistency. Let me actually read a couple of these 5-star Google-verified reviews, because they really highlight that trust factor.
Need to hear 'em.
So Jamie Bernstein says, I cannot give this company enough praise. They took their time and used care to clean everything.
That's exactly what you want to hear. Care and patience.
Exactly. And here's another one from Tammy Jimenez. She noted that the crew was, quote, on time and professional. Highly recommend.
You know, it's that combination of high-level science and just basic professional respect for someone's home.
Totally. But families aren't the only ones sharing spaces, right? We need to talk about commercial environments. Because the stakes shift dramatically when you move from a house to a business.
Oh, the math changes completely. High foot traffic makes businesses prime vectors for rapid outbreaks.
Yeah, I mean, think about a standard office. You've got employees sharing bathrooms, break rooms, elevators, copiers.
The cross-contamination potential is huge.
And the stakes for the business owners are incredibly high. If an outbreak happens, you're looking at massive employee absenteeism.
Which kills productivity.
Exactly. And beyond that, it damages customer trust. I mean, nobody wants to visit a property if they know they might be exposed to a virus.
Right. And that's why the emphasis in commercial spaces isn't just about cleaning up after an outbreak. It's about routine disinfection.
Preventing it before it happens.
Exactly. Routine disinfection creates healthier employees, better productivity, and it maintains that vital customer trust. You are proactively creating safer environments.
But practically speaking, how does a business actually do that? You mentioned a house takes 2 to 4 hours. A commercial job has to take way longer,
Oh, for sure. Commercial jobs typically take 8 to 12 hours.
12 hours. How does a business just shut down for 12 hours without losing a ton of money?
They don't. That's the beauty of it. The professionals smartly schedule these deep cleans during off hours or overnight. Yeah, the crew comes in right after the last employee locks up for the evening. They run the chemicals, the ozone, the UVC, do the full ventilation, and they are completely packed up and gone before the first employee arrives the next morning.
So there's absolutely zero disruption to the business workflow.
Zero. The staff just walks into a biologically secure building.
Okay, but I have a logistical question. If these crews are moving from, say, a really contaminated clinic on a Tuesday to a standard office building on Wednesday, aren't they risking cross-contamination, like bringing germs in on their own gear?
That's a great question, and it's something top-tier companies take very seriously. They have incredibly strict internal protocols.
Like decontaminating their own stuff?
Exactly. They rigorously disinfect their own tools, their trucks, their waste storage units, everything. They use those same hospital-grade methods on their own equipment between every single job.
Wow. So they guarantee they're never introducing a foreign pathogen into a client's business.
Exactly right. The containment loop is totally sealed.
So what does this all mean? Routine disinfection for a business isn't just cleaning. It's an operational insurance policy. You don't wait for a crisis to lock the doors, and you shouldn't wait for an outbreak to sanitize the workspace.
That's the perfect way to frame it. Professional disinfection is fundamentally about long-term health protection.
It really is.
It goes so far beyond mere surface cleanliness. Whether it's a family home or a corporate office, you are utilizing actual science to guarantee peace of mind.
And that peace of mind is priceless, which is why you need to call the sponsor now. Coronavirus Cleaning and Disinfection Services in Atlanta. Seriously, if you want your space truly protected, reach out to Four Seasons Air Care LLC at 404-891-0225. Let me give you that one more time, 404-891-0225.
They really are the experts in this space.
They are. And remember, they handle so much more than disinfection. They offer air duct cleaning GA, crawl space encapsulation, ductwork installation and repair, dryer vent cleaning, disinfection services, HVAC system cleaning, and water damage restoration.
You know, talking through all this tech, the UVC, the ozone, it really leaves you with a wild thought to ponder.
Yeah, what's that?
Well, if UV light and ozone generators can literally alter the DNA of a virus in our living rooms and offices today, it raises a fascinating question about the future. How long until our everyday homes and office buildings are permanently built with this hospital-grade technology integrated directly into the architecture, constantly fighting invisible wars while we sleep?